Hello everybody, my name is Phoenix Dingo and welcome back to my channel. New people, thank you for coming in. First things first, please subscribe so I can hit 1,000 viewers. That would be awesome. Okay, so today I wanted to talk about Andrew Yang's universal basic income versus Bernie Sanders, who wants to raise up to $15 an hour minimum. Now, I am getting a lot of my information from epi.org, and the article is called Raising the Federal Minimum Wage to $15 an hour by 2024, which would lift pay for nearly 40 million workers. If you agree or disagree, that's fine. Go ahead and put a comment below. I will respond to everybody. I'm going to go as fast as I can so I can get through all of it so I don't have you here all day. Trying to respect your time. All right. So raising the minimum wage. Some positives is that 39.7 million workers would benefit. It would also stimulate the economy and spur greater business activity and growth. If they were to raise the minimum wage, it would be the highest hike if they were to raise it so that it would be equal to what a living wage is versus a poverty raise. Now, ethnic groups that would benefit would be Black people at 38.3%, Hispanic, which would be 33.4%, non-white, which would be 23.2%, and Asian, which would be 11.6%. It would lessen the gap between the lower and middle classes. Now, I got a comment earlier that was talking about how it would eliminate the middle class, and then the gap between the middle class, lower class, and the high class would be even greater. Now, this is true. However, it would lessen the gap between the lower and middle class. It would also ensure that people that are at the lower level could live a better, productive life. I personally, my ideology when it comes down to this is that I personally don't want people to suffer. I don't want people to have to work just to pay bills. Okay? And right now, when you're talking about minimum wage, for instance, here in Florida, it's $8.46. Now, as a Yang Gang person, he likes math. I personally don't, but we're just going to do it. All right, so $8.46 times 80 hours, let's say you're working full time. That's going to be $13.53.60 a month. Now, if you subtract rent, which is typically around $900, and that's for a lot of the lower apartments and rentals, that's going to leave you with $453.60. Then you subtract $200 for utilities. Some people pay all together, some people do water, and then they do electric, gas, whatever. Mine is much higher than that, but I'm just going to go with that right now because it's a lower figure. Okay, and that leaves you with $253.60. Now, this leaves you that for food, transportation, insurance, savings, phone, clothing, toiletries, and incidentals. Okay? This also, if you're single, does not allow you to get any assistance unless you have kids. But that in itself raises a whole bunch more expense that you have to pay out. Okay? So it makes it hard for people in this situation to save for emergencies. It makes them hard to become homeowners, which is a way to invest in your personal wealth so that, like, let's say later on when you retire, you have a paid off home. So you don't have rent to pay, just taxes. Okay? So that creates a stability for you. And it also leaves you something to leave your children so that later on, when you're gone, you know that they have a leg up in their future. Okay? This also makes it hard to go on vacations. To be able to spend time with your family or just get away and give yourself peace of mind. As you know, there are a lot of people with psychological problems right now. And I mean, that does not help. I know myself, I have not been on, I actually took one last year. So that was great. I took 2 days off to go to a family reunion. Before that, I haven't had a vacation since 1998. So I understand that. I understand that. And I do like to work, but, I would like to be able to get away, see things. Um, it also, at that wage, it's hard to save for retirement. So you have a lot of people that still have to work at an older age. It doesn't free up opportunities for people to be able to go ahead and move up because people are in positions and they're not getting out. They are staying because they have to. Okay? And last point, which I already kind of said, but enjoying life. Being able to enjoy life with your kids. If you have to work more, that's less time with your kids. That's less that you can foster education for them. That's less time that you can make sure that emotionally they're getting what they need. That's less time to ensure that your family gets proper bonding time. It's important for kids to be able to do that. And the way that things are working right now, a lot of people, both couples, have to work. Okay. I was blessed to have a two-parent home, and my mother stayed home, and she was an amazing mother, and she was always there for me. I had things that I went through, I was able to talk to her. She was there. If I was sick, she was able to come and get me. I was privileged to have things that a lot of people that I know right now did not have. They would come home, no one was there. They'd get to see their parents like maybe an hour or two a day, because when they came home, they would have to cook, they'd have to clean, and by the time they had time to spend quality time, they would eat, spend a little time maybe, and then go to bed. A lot of them got dropped off at other families' houses so that they could be watched while their parent went to work another job to support them. Okay? And I don't feel like that's fair to kids. And when we have problems that are going on right now, I almost feel like this is a symptom of the main problem, which is not a lot of time and cultivating of the kids and making sure that things are going right with them. I mean, if you have kids that you're never around, how are you going to know the negative things that are going on in that kid's life? So you have kids that are going through stuff and the parents would never even know because they don't have enough time to do it. And then when they are around, a lot of times they're too tired. They try their best, but they're too tired to properly engage. All right. Now down to some negatives. Small businesses would really suffer. I had someone who left a comment on my last video. They said that if they were to raise it to $15 an hour, that they would have to get rid of 25% of their workers. And I understand that. That's a significant jump when it comes down to being able to maintain a business, especially if it's a small business. So you're looking at a bunch of small businesses closing down and a loss of local jobs at a local level. That's not positive at all. That's horrible. We're also looking at a raise of prices. We know a lot of times when businesses get things like this, they don't just eat it. They go ahead and add it to the prices of everything, which is ridiculous because they make enough money, but it's a business, so they'll just charge the extra over to us, and we're going to have to pay more. We'll be paying like $5 for ramen noodles. It's disgusting. This would also merge the classes, which we talked about earlier. I'm less worried about that because I don't have the mentality that just because people get paid more, that it's going to minimize my status. I don't care about my status. I don't care if I'm middle class or low class. When I was younger, I had delusions of grandeur and I was going to be rich and all this stuff. Now I'm older and I just want to have a quality life, and I want other people to have a quality of life. That's why I went to school for public health. I know that stress minimizes your life, and it has a lot of risk factors for people's health. So it's almost saying that that people shouldn't have a longer, healthier life because they don't have money. And that's basically what it boils down to. A lot of this stuff is people being afraid of becoming the lower class, and I just don't agree with that. I do agree with human rights, and I agree with humans being happy. And unfortunately, a lot of greed falls into that. So I heard people saying that, oh, if you raise it to $15 an hour, my husband is a fire worker, and they make that. So you're telling me someone from McDonald's should make the same amount? Well, if they do raise the minimum wage, they should be raising the other wages simply because someone who is qualified or has a bachelor's degree is less likely to take a job that's going to pay minimum wage. They'll be looking for something else. Otherwise, why not take one of the easier jobs? Not saying that restaurant working is easy. Sorry about that. I got a message. Because it's not. It's hard work, and everyone should be able to work their full 40 hours and be able to live life, save up money, and have their slice of the American pie. Not everyone wants to be rich. Some people just want to be happy. Point blank, period. And the notion that just because you work at McDonald's, you shouldn't have that is ridiculous. And if that's your mindset, you really need to check yourself because that's selfish. That's selfish. People shouldn't be in that mind frame. We should all be working together to be happy. Okay? And I know that sounds like flowers and roses and I'm some kind of hippie, and if that's what I want to be, if I'm going to be labeled, so be it. So be it. Because if you don't care about your neighbor and if you don't care about what they're going through, then who's going to care for you when you go through it? Because if we don't check these people, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. And middle class people, don't get it twisted. Middle class people are going through the same struggle. Okay. I used to work at the Department of Children and Families, and the food